But football without fans is nothing. It can be the greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch it, it becomes nothing.
Johnston. And a goal by Johnston. That makes it 2 by him.
We were magnificent. Magnificent.
Larson. Oh, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Nakamura.
The game is over. The Rebels have won.
He's done it! Jarman's put it in, and without a doubt, the European Cup is on its way.
We'll never stop. We'll stop at half time, and we'll stop at the end of the game when we celebrate.
Yes, it is Wednesday, the 26th of January, and we have just beaten the Diets at Tynecastle. I'm your host, Gavin, and we're joined by Paddy and Silver. How you doing?
Good, mate, good.
All better, mate, after the final whistle went, anyway.
Mate, I hate to use that cliche, a game of two halves, but I actually think it might have been fitting to describe it like that.
Yes.
First half, we were seeing the best. We'd overcame that bit of adversity in the first 15 minutes, but then we're playing some brilliant football, scoring 2 great goals. But then it's one of the ones, a 2-0 scoreline at Tynecastle is precarious. All they need is a bit of oxygen to that fire, and that's what they got when they got that 1 goal to bring it back to 2-1. And at times it was back to the walls. Dale, I know that you're... was it a long-lost relative of yourself? There was a namesake of yours, O'Reilly, who played rather well for Celtic tonight. What do you make of that?
I thought first half he done not too bad. Looks like a very, very clever football player. Done well on the ball, looked comfortable. But me and Paddy were talking half podcast just before it, mate, and I said at half time, 2-0, we need another goal. And that's exactly what I just said to Paddy there as well, mate. A game of two halves, 100%. Very, very good in the first half. After 10, 15 minutes, very, very poor in the second half.
I totally agree with you. Paddy, you had predicted it to be a 5-2 affair, but I think it was a bit more skittish for yourself. How did you cope with that one?
I don't know about skiddish, mate, but there was definitely fucking skid marks. I was absolutely shit myself in that second half there. I just said 5-2 last night, so thank fuck Boyce never scored a second goal. But there's an absolutely brilliant name popped up there. Rios Royce Hatate. Wow, I'm sweating.
Fair
My heart's
play.
still thumping. Same here.
Fair play.
Here, by the way, before we get into it, Dale, I want to get your opinion about this one. I'd asked Paddy during the game, has Hatate got the potential to be a bigger fan favourite than Kyogo? He looks shit hot, man.
It's just it's the crispness he's passing. His awareness. He's no fear to get involved in challenges. I actually text Paddy during the game as well and said, "Who the fuck's keeping him at the Japan team? What a player! What a player!" And listen, we're 2 games deep into his Celtic career, and being optimistic, I can see him being an absolute phenomenon for us. If we keep him for 3 or 4 seasons, his awareness on the park. I think we spoke about it kind of around about Christmas time and that. We've not had that player that breaks the lines and gets that ball in through the back that we've been missing for Lubo and that kind of stuff. So, for me, mate, it could be absolutely massive for this club in the next 2 or 3 years and beyond, hopefully. But playing that way, can we keep a hold of him for longer than that? I very much doubt it.
100%. And Paddy, another man who put in a big performance tonight was Giakoumakis. I know Evan McGinty was a wee bit sceptical about him. He would rather have had a bad playing through the middle, but Giakoumakis, he was a warrior tonight.
Of course he was, mate, and that's the kind of dimension that we need added into the team. Like, we've not had a striker who's been a kind of a physical threat, a bully, somebody that can mix it up a wee bit. But I know he started off pretty sluggish to his Celtic career, but there's obviously mitigating circumstances to that. You know, coming in with a pre-season under his belt, an injury here or there, and obviously the Kyogo kind of taking the mantle as the main striker and he's something to break in. But Postecoglou said some amazing things the last couple of days about him. Says that he was in training over Christmas period, him and Julian and Forrest, and that his attitude's been first class. So as it stands now, this is his moment to shine because Kyogo's out, my head is away. So he's got to take the mantle up, mate. And he's got to get the game times in, and so far the last 2 games, he's not disappointed. I think there was a couple of moments in the first half he was a wee bit sluggish and getting his groove into the game, but he looks to be one of these guys that when he's getting the service, he'll get a goal. And look at what happened tonight. I think it was the best O'Reilly out. Put the cross in for put a low cross in for him, mate, and he had a brilliant finish. That was very reminiscent of the one that Dembele scored against the Huns.
Huns, aye.
Cup final team.
Yep.
You saw how much it meant to Giakoumakis right at the end. He was celebrating in front of the fans, and you could see that this victory, he knew that he was a part of it. He totally contributed. And there was an interview that I'd read a couple of days ago where he said how shit a start it was to the season for him with injuries and stuff like that. And he said that the season is basically starting right now for him. And obviously he got his goal against the Butchers of Alloa on Saturday evening, but tonight he's followed up with another goal, and that's what we need him to go into the Celtic and Rangers game with confidence, because we can't rely on Kyogo. He's going to be out, of course. So things are looking good. What have we got for Brian? A regular contributor, Brian, cracking goal he scored. I like these borderline onside goals because we get to watch it time after time while Sky tried to prove it was off. Very well said. Who was it in the studio? Who was it Berra?
Christoph Berra and somebody else I can't remember.
He's thick as fuck, isn't he, man?
He is a jambo.
You're lacking a few brain cells. Right.
By the way, can I just say an odd? Do you know who else has lacked a few brain cells? That wee slimy, smarmy, brown-nosing, dirty little bastard, Andy Walker. Do you know? I don't give a flying fuck what he done for Celtic in the past. Right? I'm not talking about him as a player, but see, as a pundit, he is just a fucking wee snake. See the first 20 minutes of that game. I said it to yourself, Dale. Every time Barry Mackay got a hold of the ball, mate, he was coming in his pants. Everything. Honestly, he actually said at one point, "Oh, Barry Mackay's just trying to get his, trying to find his range in this game." And then the next minute, Ian Crocker goes, "Aye, he's not actually scored a goal for Hearts yet." Oh, shut up, you prick.
I can't talk, but what's the crack with his fucking blonde ponytail, the wee gimp?
Who?
Barry Mackay.
Oh.
What the fuck's that all about? I wouldn't mind a mane of hair like that myself, but I don't think I would dye it blonde and tie it up.
That's a top knot, mate. So some big Randy Highlander can just use it as a hono ball and he's popping.
Aye, go for a manscape next time.
Aye, everybody's on the manscape, aren't they?
Yes.
Aye, that's fun. Every podcast is promoting the Manscaped. Right, to get to the lineup, at the back, no surprises. You've got Hart, you've got Taylor, Starfelt, Vickers, and Josip Juranovic. In the midfield, we knew that there was going to be a few changes. We've got Beaton, who was a captain tonight. Thought over the whole, he did quite well, Beaton, and he was flanked by Hatate, who, of course, stole the show in my eyes. Hatate was brilliant. And then you had the debut boy, O'Reilly.
Great name.
Up front, you've got Giakoumakis leading the line, and you've got Jota, who played an hour's worth. And I think we noticed it as soon as Jota came off on the hour mark, that we kind of really miss his absence. And the other guy was Forrest. So Forrest got the nod over Abada, even though Abada did get a screamer against the Butchers of Alloa. So, Del Boy, what did you make of the lineup tonight, mate?
Very, very much what I expected. Other than probably Forrest, I thought Abada would have started, but other than that, that's exactly what I thought the lineup would have been. As we spoke about before, back to front, we done very well in the first half, but Forrest, I know he's coming back for yet another injury. I've said it loads of times. I text Paddy the night during the game, kind of later on in the second half, when the ball came across and he held back and never went for the ball because there was a defender there. He's always shied away for a challenge. He doesn't like going up in the air. He's a shite bag. That's how I would explain him. I think it'll take 5 or 6 years of Forrest retiring to go, you done all right. Never been his greatest fan. Scores big goals, picks and chooses his games to play well in. I think his time's coming to an end pretty soon for Forrest, and it's a shame to say. He's been a brilliant servant. I think when you look back in years to come, he'll be looked on as a legend with the trophies he's won. But
an unsung hero, maybe.
I just don't think he's bringing too much to the table.
That's a wee private joke, that, mate. Sorry.
I just don't think he's bringing too much to the table under Ange and the way he wants to play football. He's not as direct as he used to be. But the lineup kind of was exactly what I thought, as I say, other than Abada.
That's a fair comment about history being favourable about Forrest. It happens too often with a few players, but I think he's a prime candidate for that. And we've got Woodsy in. I need a green tea after that second half. Woodsy's doing the dry January, same as me. He thought cheating beating was going to win. What is that you're on, mate?
Henry Weston's 8.5% blows the fucking fanny right off you.
Talk about fannies. There's Fud Roaster. No, I don't mean that in a bad way, mate. O'Reilly got man of the match.
Did he? Aye.
Yeah, well, according to Mr. Fud Roaster.
Interesting.
I don't see any reason to disbelieve that, man.
By the way, an interesting stat. Whenever he came off. I don't know, in the second half. But whenever he came off, Sky Sports put up a stat. It was the most chances created at that point in the game. O'Reilly had 8, and the closest people to him were like Mackay at 2 and Josip Juranovic at 2. So, a bit of stats to kind of back up that justification for man of the match. Interesting one.
A wee bit of debate there. Kenny says that Forrest is too scared to make a challenge because he doesn't want injured again. And Brian says, heard this year after year about Forrest, he will come good again. Nope.
Forrest is the no challenge because he doesn't want to get injured. James Forrest been in the Celtic first team for the best part of 13 years. He doesn't challenge, he doesn't go for headers. Maybe he's not doing it now, so he doesn't get injured for the rest of the season. But say that again, he's a shite bag. He's never been one for challenging. So that's not the reason.
One more question to you, Dale, about Forrest. If Forrest is actually going to prove the doubters wrong this season, will he not be able to do that if he's playing on the left rather than the right?
I think with the modern game and the way it's evolved, you see that a lot more now, that the right side these players will play on the left and vice versa. I think Jamesy possibly falls into that category just because he's played on the right for so long, and Jamesy's best weapon has always been dropping the right shoulder and getting a cross in. So I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I think he'll play a reasonably big part going forward for the rest of the season, to be honest with you.
Who, Forrest?
Aye, a day. As much as I've always been in the middle with him, he is quite a big game player.
He has been a big game player there, and obviously the game, the semi-final this season, he goes into the final, which is what he can do, mate. He can be a big game player, but I'm sure it was yourself says to on one of the phone-ins or something. I thought the end of the season Forrest should go for me, and I think we had a wee bit of disagreement there. But I've seen a slight decline on his pace, right? And James is as you know, as you said, that's his most dangerous weapon.
Because he runs like that.
Aye, when he shoulders like that. But at his best, mate, he started to cut in for the right hand side into the middle of the park and started hitting more shots with the outside of his boot. This season he's had obviously more injuries again, but he's 31 now, and the more injuries you get when you get older, they start to take a toll on you. You lose a bit of pace anyway.
Totally.
Forrest isn't going to play at the right wing this season. What Ange has done is he's put him out to the left-hand side, and because he likes the inverted wingers, he's asked him to come out to the left, drive the ball into the middle, instead of going and taking a man on the left-hand side, try to beat him with pace, go through the middle, go into the defender's weaker foot and try and drive through the centre. He is doing that, right, but he's no as effective on the left-hand side as what he was on the right, and he's not as good on the right as what he used to be. So I think he's still a player who can be used this season, But I think at the end of the season, we really need to say cheerio. Been a great, however many years, give his testimonial, because I'm sure he's due a testimonial, and then say, be on your way, mate. We can do better.
I think it's his 13 seasons,
Hold on, Dale. Sorry, mate. Here's a comment come in. 1-4 official. Starfelt was solid. Aye.
So.
No
again,
chance. No chance.
Again, it just kind of one heaters. The push was poor. The last ditch challenge in the box that he put out was a decent enough challenge.
Aye,
I think he's the go-to guy, isn't he? If we've had a tough wee spell, he's a go-to guy. Starfelt was shite. And me and you have been very critical in Paddy on our podcasts and phone-ins and whatever known. Still very, very, very much under scrutiny for me. He's still just done all right, and that's it. I don't know what you think, Gav. I just think he's kind of sailed through a wee bit so far.
I've kind of stuck up for Starfelt in the podcast because Paddy has been more kind of adverse to his performances, and I've tried to be giving him that benefit of the doubt. The cup final, he was a wee bit. He did not have his best game in the cup final, and I'm trying to think about it. If I was a manager, like a cold-blooded, ruthless manager, would I keep Starfelt in if Julian is impressing in training? We don't really know yet if Julian is impressing. He's good enough to go on the bench, but Starfelt is not as consistent as Vickers. I think that is a fair comment.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the night though, Gav, I thought Vickers was poor. No to the extent where I thought he was shite, but I thought he's had clearly better games. But the defence didn't really help that a lot. I thought Juranovic was good. I mean, the kind of the first instance where we get beat down our left-hand side again, and Juranovic was covering it as quick as a shot before anybody even had a chance to think about it. Juranovic was already had that in his mind, and he's made an absolute darting run, and he's saved us for a goal probably. So Juranovic was good. I didn't think Vickers was up to his usual good self tonight. Starfelt, I just think he's very average. He's had a good spell, which I give him a credit for, but again, I don't like him. I really don't like him as a football player. He's too timid for me. He's too passive. Is probably what you were maybe trying to say there, Gav. Any time he comes up against a physical duel, he crumbles. He always comes out second best, pretty much all the time.
Whenever he's got the ball in defence, he's going to like feed it to the winger or pass it back to the goalkeeper. He's got a very deliberate way of passing the ball where he kind of like the motion, he kind of swings his whole body into the motion of kicking it. Very, very weird. And he telegraphs it as well. And I don't think he gets much purchase on the actual pass whenever he does it. It's a weird technique. And the guy is like, 26? So you'd think that if you had a mistake in your technique, it would have been ironed out from an early age. But somehow he's kind of clambered on in his career, still with those kind of flaws. But what did you think of the midfield tonight in the first half and in the second half to compare and contrast? Who do you think won the battle of the midfield tonight?
I thought the midfield three, after the initial 10-15 minutes, were superb in the first half. I says to Paddy, I thought the way Nielsen set up Hearts in the first 10-15 minutes was very, very good, by the way. It was a very, very high press. Starfelt went to Vickers, went to fucking out left, went right. And Hearts were... Celtic were playing just outside their 18-yard box. And I thought, this is going to be a long, long fucking night. But we got our fit on the ball. The boy O'Reilly, Hatate, and I thought Big Beaton for about 15 minutes to half-time strolled it. Never really put a foot wrong. I don't think the boy Harron and that in the middle of the park get any sort of footprint in the game at all for 15 minutes up to half-time. I thought the midfield three looked really, really good.
100%. Right. Just in the first half, I thought Jota, you were totally right. After about 15 minutes, at that point, it was a wee bit kind of hairy. After 15 minutes, we asserted our dominance. And Jota was becoming more influential twice, playing on the left wing. He cut in and he had two shots, which were actually on target. And I think on both occasions, we probably won corners from it. But then the goal for Hatate came on like the 26th minute. It was a break in midfield for Celtic, and Hatate latched onto a pass. He was bearing down in goal, and he was still like way out the box. I don't know if you would say 35 yards or maybe 30 yards, but it hit a long ranger. Not the same kind of squiggler as Nakamura against Rangers. It was more kind of direct. Gordon might have been able to do better, but it went in. Paddy, I was actually leaving you a voice message on the WhatsApp telling you about my thoughts on the midfield and how Tatty was doing, and then he scored it, and I went kind of orgasmic in my speech, man. What did you make of that goal? It was a stonker.
I don't know, but that's the last time you ever better message me being orgasmic again. I tell
It was football.
No, it was. I was literally just about to message you back and say this game needs a goal, and then just at that, aye, and then I was like, right, brilliant goal, and then as soon as I seen it, mate, I fucking jumped up, man. It was an absolute peach. Just the way he took it, but he was doing that all night. I actually thought, see that for the first couple of minutes and the first 10 minutes, the first kind of passes and kind of through balls that he tried, I was thinking to myself, why the fuck is he trying a low drive along the flare when there's five Hearts guys in front of him? I'm like, ah, shite. And it was the first two, but he was obviously, he was trying to find his range at that point. But as soon as he done that, and as soon as he got his first one, they were just coming off. He pinged one for the set. He was just to the right-hand side of the centre of the midfield, and he pinged one out to the left wing that I actually thought that the Hearts defender, who was kind of on the right-hand side of the midfield, was just going to catch it, but it literally just went like that and moved away for the guy's fit at the last minute and went out to Jota, and I'm like, that's a fucking beautiful ball, that. And then he just kept doing that and doing it, and then obviously popped up with that absolute fucking stonker of a goal. Just say through the centre of the pitch, it's even hard. It's quite hard to describe, isn't it? Because he didn't position his body to the side to shoot it. His body position was straightforward, and his kick was straightforward. But at that, he's got enough of a whip on it that it actually moves at the last minute, and fucking Gordon goes right through Gordon's hands. And
Nakamura.
And there wasn't a lot of uplift on it. You know what I mean? It rose all the time. It rose fucking perfectly. It didn't just go. You know.
I think Craig Gordon, I think looking back on it, will be quite disappointing. Just because we know how quality a goalkeeper is. I think he'll be quite disappointed when he sees it back. But the power in it was fucking phenomenal. Patrick, how you doing, brother? The big man's got a ticket for next Wednesday, so I'm looking forward to meeting up with him in Paradise.
Yeah, Kyle Cutwood on an odd deal. I know you.
Kyle, how you doing, brother?
He says,
stats next days.
Starfelt was good until that big unit came on for a physical battle with him. Aye,
yes,
just as much. But anyway, don't want to keep bashing him too much because fucking somebody else is usually doing it.
Well, 10 minutes later, Giacomakis got his goal, and at that point things were looking comfortable. And Del Boy, it was your brother from another mother, O'Reilly, who played in that low cross to set up Giacomakis, and it was a really kind of cute wee deft touch. It was like a wee kind of flick back of the heel that evaded Gordon, and it went into his near post. A really cracking goal, mate, and that's what you want for your big striker going into the Rangers game. What did you make of that one?
I'm just trying my best not to say more jokes here about my ma, and I need to.
No, you need to tell us now, mate.
No, mate, just when Gav said that, a brother for another mother, I had about fucking 10 jokes rattling about. Because my mom actually watches this shit, you know what I mean? So,
is your mom friendly with the postman?
Well, aye, the postman for MK Dons. Aye, listen, very, very good finish, and we spoke about earlier the offside stuff and all that, and we'll obviously get to Liam Boyce's goal, but clever finish, typical number 9 striker. Bockham's in the box, he's came to the front post, got the touch on it. That's what you want for a big number 9. Good finish, good move, and I think probably most Celtic fans at that point were thinking home and dry, but Gav will move on to the second half after that. But yes, good move, mate. Very clever finish. Delighted for him.
Well, see the goal, Gav. I mean, that Gordon had pulled off a few good saves before that. Do you know what I mean? So it could have been fucking 3 or 4.
Yep.
Could have been. And that's what it's like. 2-0 at Tynecastle, as I said at the start, precarious. As soon as they get the one goal, they're up. And the fans, like, it's one of the ones, like, whenever you come away and you've got a victory at Tynecastle, you love it so much because it's a bit of the Lions' den. It's got that effect to it. The fans are just so close to the pitch, and that's why we love it so much. Apart from the fact that we hate the diets anyway.
But see on that note, Gavin. Del, you can have a wee rant after this, mate. Just to bring this one up before we forget. Obviously, it's a very bitter rivalry. But it was nice to see the two sides putting that aside for a wee minute, just to give a clap for the wee fella.
Devlin.
Excuse me, Devlin. Sorry, wee fella that killed himself. So that's always nice that we can kind of put a football rivalry aside for a wee second and just
it was a nice it's a nice touch. I do a lot of mental health stuff, as you know, Paddy, for charity every year. Lost quite a lot of friends through suicide as well. So that was class. But as you were saying, I'll go on my wee rant and I try to watch my P's and Q's as much as I can and not get too much into it. But dirty, stinking, horrible bastards, man. I hate them. You just the chants, the paedophilia stuff, and booing a guy who plays in Maroon, who's been there for so many years, who's got himself a big move to his big cousins, and the home fans are booing them. All the empty seats in the away section, which will hit them in the pocket. So just a horrible, stinking, vile place to go. And I've said it in many, many occasions. I've been to Ibrox, I've been to Tynecastle. That shithole is up there, if not the worst place I've ever been for bigotry and throwing stuff at you and all that. And I could go on all night. I'm delighted we beat them, and I hope they just fucking disappear off the radar in the next few weeks and drop down the league. And fuck them, 2-1, delighted. Get it up the minis. Fucking Robbie Nielsen's hair will be like mine in a few years because he's fucking clinging onto that for fucking dear life, the wee prick.
So he is, isn't he?
That'll do me. I don't think that'll get me in trouble at work anyway, so.
Sorry, I'll take up the mantle on that at some point.
Yes, you deal with the bigotry stuff.
I'll translate that for the ball bags later
on. Moving into the second half, I don't know if there was a particular tactical change because their goal never came until when was it? The 60-second. Aye, but up until that, had you noticed a change in? I don't know if there was a change in tactics at all from Hearts. If they were pressing back to their pressing game, or they had more belief. Maybe Robbie Nielsen put a rocket up their arse, but things started kind of seeming more even in terms of the possession and the battles in the midfield. Jota came off for a bad, of course, in the 60th minute, and I really feel that whenever Jota, even if he's still kind of coming back to match fitness, whenever he comes off, the guy is just so effective. His first touch is the vision he's got in his head whenever he's going to do something. Whenever you take that away from our play, there's just a bit of a void. Abada came on and he tried very, very hard, and he did what he does. But I think there was a bit of a kind of changing in the tide. And of course, Boys scored. This was the offside goal. Now there was clear daylight with this. Paddy, I think I was totally transfixed with it being offside, and then he scored. He put it past Hart, but I think you were moaning about Starfelt during that. I never really paid too much attention to the build-up. I was just furious at the linesman not catching it. What was your kind of take on that, mate?
Listen, just in case anybody thinks I'm bashing Starfelt, it's not just him. The night the majority of the defence was rubbish, but Starfelt had he done it again. Somebody said it earlier in the comments, like anytime he comes up against a physical defender, he tries to push people. In fact, it was Fudroster, which was Starfelt pushing people in the back. He did it again. And that's what he did again, mate. He was losing an aerial battle. So what does he do? He pushes the guy in the back. Didn't get a foul for it, right? But this was in mid-play. So the balls went out to our left-hand side. He's out of position. Vickers and Juranovic, I think it was, tried to make a move for a man, but what they've did is they've split opened. And behind that, Boyce has made a run at the back. The guys fucking put a split ball through. Boyce is there just to fucking coolly put it away. It was bad defending, mate. And as you say, there was a trend for that second half. It was very much Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, the first one, like we went into half time with a really good confidence, oozing quality, and then after we came back out, it was just all hearts. They were just in our face, and we didn't rise to the occasion in the second half. Obviously, we saw the game out, but there was certainly a fucking element of luck in that.
Aye, well, there was no luck in that offside. Like it was.
No. It was absolutely offside, right? But sorry, that was your question. You asked me. My apologies. But the first half, here's another incident where Andy Walker is fucking sitting, clinging onto his wee half-inch micro penis, fucking chuffing it away as if he's polishing a fucking pawn for a chess piece. He's sitting there going like, "Oh, look, get the microscope out, see how much fucking fucking thing his kneecap was offside." But there's Boyce, like, and it's just that Boyce is offside. Aye, that's fine. It'll just even itself out. So fuck you, Andy Walker, you little scumbag.
The thing with Walker as well, and Charlie Nick and Chris Commons and all these ex-Celtic players who go to work with the media, and I don't know if they're trying to make a name for themselves, or they're trying to be, oh, big Chris Sutton does this and that, we'll try to go in a different direction. But us three sitting watching the game tonight, Andy Walker, ex-Celtic player, we all know he's a wanker and he's got some sort of agenda against Celtic, clearly because the stick he gets off the fans, which is well deserved in my opinion. But me and Paddy spoke about it the night. Barry Mackay studs right down somebody's ankle. Halkett twice, right down the back of the calf. How much discussion did you see on Sky about that? How much? Fuck all. Absolutely fuck all. Obviously the Alloa game, once it gets slowed down in that, they went a wee bit more in depth with the challenging Gucci, but these guys are sitting watching that tonight, and I hate to harp on about fucking referees and all that, but it's hard naughty because it's so clear to see that the offside, the two challenges with the studs, I thought Beaton's yellow card was very, very soft. 2 minutes later, there's a challenge from Devlin, who's in a yellow card, which was exactly the same. And if he's not in a yellow card, he's getting a yellow card, so it's a fucking red. So it's hard not to get aggravated with it because you're sitting in the house watching it. And why they not get into this in more detail on the telly? Because every single other person seen it, they fucking know. Or do they choose not to speak about it? I don't know.
Aye, well, I was going to bring on to that, and you've kind of captured a lot of the key moments. So I was going to ask that Paddy, Beaton, if Celtic weren't playing tonight, if he wasn't officiating tonight, he probably would have been in his local watching his team play instead. But
it'd be fucking drinking a pint out the living cup and shagging a goat.
It really surprises. There was like 3 yellow cards for us and 3 yellow cards for Hearts. I thought in the first half he was kind of letting things run, but in the second half I wasn't too happy with his performance. I thought the Hearts were getting away with far too much. And how would you assess his performance overall?
Just as pish as usual, mate. I actually thought the first half it was decent, right? But in saying that, I'm quite sceptical of a decent performance from John Beaton because I actually said this before the match, because of the kind of spotlight being on the referee at the Alloa game, Don Robertson, you absolute cunt. I thought that anything that John Beaton did or failed to bring up, he would have had the spotlight on him even more so than he usually is. So I thought he played into that hands a wee bit, but obviously the second half comes in and there's even the couple of goals and that. But the second half came in and he was just totally inconsistent. I wouldn't say he was. I wouldn't say he was up to his usual cheating tonight because he is a dirty cheating bastard. But he was certainly inconsistent. But he was consistently shite.
And what about the decision for handball?
No, that's a clear handball. And that's not the first time Beaton's done something like that. The guy's the tallest guy in our team and he's jumping up his hand up like that. I just don't get I don't understand why people do that in the box. It's fucking stupid. It's madness. You're going to get a penalty away. You don't need to jump up like that as if somebody's fucking tickling you under the fucking arm. You know what I mean? Just jump up with your arms, even if you're trying to elevate. Obviously, you're going to try and elevate yourself a bit after somebody, but you don't jump up like that. Come on, the fuck.
It was a penalty. If it's the other end, you're screaming for the fucking hilltops for it. That's what I thought about John beating the night as well, mate. It was inconsistency. Like flashing a yellow to Beaton, a couple of minutes later, there was kind of exactly the same challenge and nothing came yet. And folk will agree or disagree with the VAR thing, but at the start, I possibly agree with the Devlin one. I would say that to Davey. I would probably agree with the Devlin one. I think if you look at the Hull one closer, he's actually behind Giakoumakis. He's nowhere near the ball, and he's ran his studs right down the back of his calf and his Achilles. So, possibly if you look at it closer, it could be a red card. And these things with VAR come in and they benefit you. I think I'm leaning heavily more towards VAR than I was a few years ago. The offside, obviously the English Premiership and that's folk hate it, folk like it. I'm kind of in the go for it corner. I would like to see it coming in.
Aye. I do agree with you on that point. It's moving with the times. We don't want to be the forgotten league in modern day football. But another point I was going to ask you guys in terms of kind of leading on, obviously Beaton he handballed it, so it was a penalty, and Boyce he hit it off the post and then it rolled out on the other side out for a goal kick. I think whenever Hart stood up and he watched it going past, I think I saw like I think mark on his face as he watched it go out. But see, leading on for the Beaton handball, there was a couple of instances. I don't want to be critical, but I just wanted to highlight the question. Was there a few occasions in the second half where we failed to be streetwise at times? Obviously, we won the game, and that's the main point about tonight. So, not be negative, but there was a lot of back to the walls moments in the second half. So, Beaton with the kind of inexplicable handball. There was one point when Hart, after we were under the cosh, we've got Hart's got the ball. I don't know if it was like a goal kick or he's got the ball in his hands, but he throws it out immediately to O'Reilly, who admittedly was in a good position in the midfield, but he was just not prepared enough to kind of turn with the ball, and that's when he got tackled and he went down with cramp. A moment just that again where he should have been prepared for it, prepared to do like a first time pass to somebody. There was another moment where Forrest were counter-attacking again late in the second half. Forrest cuts in on the left and he's got Abada screaming out for the pass, but Forrest goes for glory and he skies it. And that third goal would have been brilliant for us. It would have settled the nerves. And then there was another point where again it was a counter-attack and Giakoumakis had a bouncing ball just after the halfway line. He saw Gordon off his line and he goes for the spectacular. These kind of moments, sometimes better decision-making really kind of calms the nerves. And I know you've got Postecoglou who says, go, go, go. But sometimes there's moments in games where you just need to kind of calm the fuck down. Who wants to pick up the ball for that?
I think possibly the struggle with that was Nielsen's tactics. I think the second half, obviously, we were a lot poorer. We were in the first, and Hearts were at us. What I did notice was when Carter Vickers and Starfelt were passing the ball about the back, there was 6, 7, 8 Hearts players in the final third. So I think that's where we fell down a wee bit. We getting the ball out for the back, and I don't know how many times I've spoken about fucking plan B, Paddy. A million times. I'm kind of getting away from it, but obviously, Ange, when Joe Hart's got the ball, he wants to play it out right. When Starfelt and that have never played to that. I thought the night was the time with Big Giakoumakis up the front, who's got a wee bit of physical presence. Then play the long ball. Let him bring it down. Let him play the long ball and get the midfield up the park. I just thought we sat in too much and we sat far too deep. And Giakoumakis is a player we've not had for a very long time. He's big, he's strong, he's good in the air. He can bring the midfield into the game. So under pressure the night, and instead of passing the ball left or right, fucking hit the big man and get us up the park. Takes the pressure off a wee bit. game management, Gav. Get it up, get in their final third, and then they're under pressure straight away. So I think we could have done the game management stuff better, but as Ange telling them not to play long balls and keep it at the back, and this is why we come on and talk about stuff like this. We're looking for the outside in, aren't we?
Well, see if Ange is telling them to keep the ball at the back and keep a hold of possession, right? And this is something that I was actually prepared to give a lot more time to. Greg Taylor just doesn't suit in with the keeping of the possession. See down the left hand side, mate. I just thought it was
nothing. Absolutely nothing tonight. Nothing. I didn't think he brought fuck all to the table tonight.
No, I'm telling you, mate. Big Scales is going to get a chance at left back. Absolutely, because he keeps possession. He drives it up the park. He's tall. He can fucking mix it about. You know what I mean?
Aye. It goes into space and that.
I actually feel sorry for Taylor because he seems a decent enough wee guy. Do you know what I mean? But he just doesn't offer. He doesn't offer anything. All he offers is running up the park, but he just runs up the park and then does the dating.
He was in about it the night when I think it was the challenge on Hatate.
Yeah.
He looked fucking quite angry. Like.
Oh, Jota was it no?
Jota, sorry, aye.
Sorry, mate, I'm agreeing like a fucking fool here. Aye, it was Jota.
He was right in about it. It was good. It was good to see you. You want to see that for your.
Of course you do, but that's a bit of camaraderie and that.
You would obviously
people
knock him out with a dick,
people fight for each other, but that's like a wee rat turning around and biting you in the ankle, and you're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" No offense to Greg Taylor, mate, but nah, sorry, pal. I think it's time. I think it's time to give Big Scales a shot.
I would like to see it as well, mate. To be honest with you, I don't think it will happen. But I would like to see it.
One player who his name caught my eye on the subs bench, I think it was a 16-year-old, a boy called Doak. Wouldn't know that guy. I know obviously he never came on, but I've heard that a few clubs in England are looking at him, and we've been bitten in the arse a few times with youth prospects who have been enticed one way or another, either by the riches of England or even going to Bayern Munich. That was another player who went away abroad. So Doak, this could be a wee special player. Any know anything about him? If you don't, I'm going to feel really stupid asking that question.
His first name is Ben.
I've seen him. I've seen him playing a few times with the Colts. Somebody actually messaged me earlier that I don't know who it was, but saying Ben Doak's my wee cousin that plays with Celtic. I can't find it. I can't be fucking arsed looking for it either. But listen, it's good to see the academy boys coming through. You wonder why the likes of young Vata and who was the guy that played up front against St Johnson Boxing Day? Dawson as well. So I don't know. I think Ange seems to be the kind of manager to give the young boys the experience, and I think he looked at the bench tonight thinking he had covered defensively in midfield and that, and he likes to bring them in. It gives them the match day experience, doesn't it? And being on the bus, being on the bench, and I think it's good for the young boy. It definitely took a lot out of it.
It's not that deal. 17-year-old as well. Do you know what I mean? He's going to soak up all the atmosphere. He's going to feel what it's really like to be a fucking a first team player. You know what I mean? It's great, but I think it's good. I know, like as you say, it seems to be as if there's a wee rotation there in the young boys that's getting brought through. It's not just the same faces. Like later on in the season, mate, if things are a wee bit more comfortable, you know, you could see the introduction of like we
I don't think any of the rest of the season coming in. I don't think any of the rest of the season's going to be comfortable.
No, I know, but maybe like a game where, you know, you're coming up against a defensive team who sit back and we're playing at Parkhead. You know what I mean? And we've got a full team back and a full bench. We could maybe put in one young boy kind of every other week. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe like a young Vata might get a game. Get an appearance on the bench at some point, even if it's that, just to soak up the atmosphere and get the experience.
I'm just going to quickly mute myself and go because my phone's, even if I've got a day off, I'm still fucking working. I need to go and quickly take a work call. You want to mute me, Paddy?
You get back to your homosexual OnlyFans thing, don't it?
Aye, the guy keeps on texting me. I need to go and look at his bods now and then I'll be back, right?
Paddy,
Do you think I should take the unmute off? No, absolutely.
We were talking. It was last night, wasn't it? We were doing the Wim Jansen tribute. I used the phrase "points like gold dust" when I was talking about that season 97-98, and kind of tying on with what your comment was about exposing the youth to these games this season. I think this season is going to be rather similar in terms of points being like gold dust, where we're fighting for everything. I think it's going to go to the wire, regardless of the outcome. I think it's still going to go to the wire of who wins. So Ange, at times, he has been forced to play younger players like Welsh and even Dane Murray at the very, very start of this season because of circumstances, because we had so many people out injured. O'Reilly, of course, he was like a 1.5 million signing. I don't think we're going to count him as a prospect. The reason he came here was for game time. It wasn't after money. But the other players, such as your blokes of the world, do you think it's one of the ones where this season is just too vital? It's too vital with the points being like gold dust for us to take any chances and give these young players a run of games or so. I know that McGinty, who's absent tonight, he's a big fan of Karamoko Dembele. So even if he never had that contract situation running up at the end of the season, do you think it would have been any kind of chances this season to expose these players to the games, or is it just too vital where we have to play our seasoned professionals when they're fit?
They would have to have been something absolutely sensational, Gav. But I think the best thing that's happening now is Postecoglou's obviously had to play what he's had to play at the start. So you've had your Dane Murray, your Stephen Welsh, your Montgomerys having to be played, right? So they've all got experience that they might know have got already. So which is obviously a positive. But then now that Postecoglou's had the second transfer window, which we're still in the now, he's been able to buy in players that he knows will fit his system, or he's hoping that will fit his system. So where the point will be by introducing youth, it'll be bringing on one guy onto the bench here and there. You know what I mean? Getting them that experience and letting them know what's expected of them. Getting the boys in training to play the way Postecoglou's playing. So I mean, this season's too monumental to be just throwing guys into the first team willy-nilly. But there's certainly no reason why you shouldn't be bringing one onto the bench. Do you know what I mean? And if needs be, like if there's an injury or whatever, fucking sendings off or whatever, then they need to be flung on, which sometimes isn't a great thing. Sometimes it is a good thing. Look at KT. He gets kind of flung into the deep end. You know what I mean?
It can be the making of you. Aye. Dale, going into the Rangers game, so that's what, next Wednesday, isn't it? A wee comment before asking the question. A wee comment for third row. So I'm not sure we can do that, Paddy. We have a big squad when not are all injured, and he needs to keep them all sharp with game time. I think the 5 subs may give Ange some scope to do that. 5 subs is a very, very useful tool that we should exploit. I think Hearts practically use like 5 subs tonight. So that's something worth considering. Dale, I was going to ask you, moving into the Rangers game for next Wednesday, would you stick with the same lineup that you saw tonight, or would you make any changes?
I would. I think what I think Ange will do, what I think I would do are totally different. As much as Greg Taylor's a kind of a big talking point between Celtic fans. He's had the experience. He's played in the games. Don't think he's the worst defender in the world. So I don't think there'll be any changes. Depending on the Dundee United, and obviously the injuries we've had this season have been fucking ridiculous. So, we skipped on to the Rangers game. The Dundee United game's bigger than now, but I would go into Saturday with the same team. Consistency is massive. The 30, 40, 50 minutes tonight we played really well. So I play the same team on Saturday. I can't see anything other than a Celtic win and a hard trip to Tynecastle, a victory against Dundee United on Saturday. Why change it?
Paddy?
I would like to see Scales getting played on Saturday. Same again with Dale says.
So would I, but I don't think it's.
I absolutely. I don't think he will change it. I think that's probably a good thing that the manager is going to go and trust players. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like if we're getting asked, I would like to see Scales. But if it's no, then if it's going to be the same team, then hopefully just you're going to have guys coming out, playing decent game, get more match fitness, more match sharpness, more confidence. Obviously, try and get a win first on Saturday, and then take that into the game next week, and just go out there. Don't have any fears. Don't sit back. Don't let them play football. Play this intense pressing game that's been spoke about, and go out there and fucking put in some heart and effort and go and win us that game, because we need to win that game for the team, for the league, and for the fans. We need that. We need to beat them.
I think obviously Joe Aribo's been probably their standout player this year, and also at the African Cup of Nations. I see Arfield's back, Ryan Jack's back, so they're going to have a team that's tried and tested, that have played in Glasgow derbies for the last 4 or 5 years. So I think any sort of change in the Celtic squad would maybe be detrimental getting into such a big game. If we won last week against Hibs, we won against Alloa, we won at Tynecastle, we won at Dundee United. Just keep the train running. We're winning, so I just leave it be. We seem to be quite settled. No, the best second half of the night, but still picking up points. And Tynecastle's a fucking horrible, hard place to go. So I think we just keep the consistency, and don't be too surprised if you maybe see wee Kyogo on a bench a week a day.
Hopefully.
The only thing I get the wisdom behind consistency, but it'll basically be that same 11 tonight, playing 2 more games. So that'll be like 3 games in the space of 1 week. So you're worried about burnout. I think that for like the fullback anyway, with Alison and Taylor, I've got no qualms in replacing them with Scales and Josip Juranovic and Taylor coming off for Scales and Ralston. I'd have no qualms with that. For Dundee United, hopefully we've got enough. Like the bench wasn't too bad. Like Julian as well, Abada came on, McCarthy came on, and you had Welsh too. I think we're strong enough to kind of change up at the weekend and then revert back to type again for Wednesday against Rangers.
Gav, would you play Julian on Saturday so that he gets some match fitness in case he needs to play?
I think the go-to man is Welsh, but it depends. Like, I'd love to be a fly in the wall at Lennoxtown and see how well Julian is doing. If he's impressing, then I go for it.
I think that the amount of time he's been out, Dundee United, I think we'll comfortably win Saturday 3 or 4-0, but what is that, 14, 15 months Julian's been out?
13, 14 months, aye.
Carter Vickers is absolutely nailed on, so I maybe take Starfelt at the fire line a wee bit and give Big Julian a run out on Saturday and see how it goes, or even the last half hour or something like that. But
there's Kyle Cutwood made a good point. Good few players were running on empty tonight. I'd make, if possible, 2 to 3 changes on Saturday. I can't admit, I'm sure you two guys were saying that we kind of looked a bit tired towards the end of the game. I'm sure it was yourself, Gav.
Very.
We did. Definitely.
But do you think that's because Hearts were in our face and we weren't matching up with the tempo, or do you genuinely think like it was because we played so many games and guys were genuinely tired?
I noticed that near the end of the second half, a lot of our midfielders and our fullbacks were getting turned too easily by their opponents, and they were just like chasing shadows at times for parts of that second half. I would put that. I know that obviously the Hearts were in the ascendancy psychologically with the fans and having 1 goal away from equalising, but no, I'd actually be inclined to put that down to a bit of tiredness as well.
I think going forward, if we're going to challenge for the league and the Scottish Cup, we definitely need to utilise the squad. I heard tonight we play 11 games in the next 33 days. That's a lot of fucking football. It's a lot of football, but I think Ange is savvy enough, and we've seen what he can do, that he knows when to utilise and no utilise his players and his squad players. And I don't think going into Saturday and going into a derby that you change fuck all. I think we need to leave it. I think we need to go into these next two games with the same team, the same guys, the same setup at Lennoxtown every day. We're on 3 wins in a row. Dundee United could be 4. So, go into the Rangers game with the same team for me. I would be very, very wary of making any changes at all.
And on that note, we know that... what time is it on Saturday? We played Dundee United. Any idea? I forget.
3 o'clock.
3 bells. 3 bells at home.
Yes.
Right, well, we'll do a post-match review afterwards. Dale, who have you got lined up next for your podcast, mate?
On the channel, had Sean for Philadelphia on this afternoon, a Celtic fan for Philadelphia. He's seen Celtic playing a couple of times over there pre-season. He's never been to Paradise, but a very good insight for a fan for across the pond, and his day-to-day stuff, going to watch Celtic in New York and leaving his house at 4 o'clock in the morning to go and watch derby games and stuff. Any boxing fans at all out there? I've got Peter the Hurricane McNeely on tomorrow. Peter had a 45 fight, I think, boxing career. Fought Mike Tyson in 1995. Fought the knockout artist that was Butterbean as well.
Butterbean.
He had an absolutely brilliant boxing career. Fell away, was in the jail. He had a lot of problems with drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. So I've got Peter on tomorrow, 5 p.m. live from Boston. I'm buzzing for it. Just a wee bit of diversity for the channel, and I'm a massive boxing and mixed martial arts fan. So really, really looking forward to it. If he's kicking about tomorrow at 5 for some live chat, or it'll be on the YouTube channel anyway.
I'll be watching that one, mate. As I say, big Peter McNeely's kind of an underdog legend in mind. I think the first time I ever saw him was the YouTube videos. You know, the trying to smack talk Mike Tyson. That
brilliant, mate.
But then obviously watched a few of his fights. He was a cracking fighter. Gav, here's a wee comment there, mate. Just I want you to kind of answer it back if you don't mind. It's for the main man, Strangelove the Doctor, brilliant guy, keeps commenting. You know why I like this channel. You're not trying to be the media.
Fuck the media.
Mm-hmm.
Tupac.
But that reminds me, I could be wrong, but I heard Celtic used to do the or as we're aware, Celtic would do the fan media. I saw a wee article coming for Hail 67 podcast that they might be stopping that. Did you guys read that?
I think what happened. I think what happened, Gav, is it was the fan media conference. Somebody will probably correct me if I'm wrong here. It was the fan media conference, and somebody asked the question. Ange answered it, but see the question that was asked, that wasn't included in the video. So I think what happened was they used the answer, but never used the question. So they're no including fan pods. Well, they're starting to kind of slowly phase them out, which is just generally getting back to the normal. Do you know what I mean? But they'll no shut us up like.
Nah, will they fuck? Let's wait, as I say, I've got Peter on tomorrow. Will we have a wee tester tomorrow, Paddy? What we did on Friday night? We get back for the phone in.
Aye, phone in will be live on Friday night, mate.
Yes, Gav, you're very welcome to join us if you want to jump on. I think we'll just go live, as in seeing our beautiful faces with our cargoes and that. I think interaction wise it'll be a wee bit better, but I've hopefully get the audio stuff sorted due to our good friend McGinty. So hopefully it'll be a wee bit better, and we'll get a good bit of cracking Friday night on the phone and live, and saves listening to the Super Scoreboard wankers.
Aye, fuck you.
You're improving on Alec Ray every day of the week.
Wouldn't they be fucking hard with it? Fuck's sake. Fucking we Alec Ray, the whole Savoys. You bastard. I hate him.
I think he's Mo and Dar first cousins, isn't he? He's Mo and Dar first cousins, isn't he?
No, he's
Aye,
Mo. No, he's Mo. He's Mo Izzy's da.
Oh, is that what it is? Aye.
Aye.
Maybe that was her that sent me the buzz there on that fucking gay chat then you're talking about.
No, was that? that was Alex Ray just drew a line to his head.
Aye. Then, to the viewers, please check out Dale's podcast tomorrow 5 o'clock. It's the Celtic Supporters Podcast. His details are below on the ticker tape. That sounds like a brilliant guest that you've got, mate. So I'll really want to watch that live and try and get a wee question in as well. Aye. So to the viewers, thank you very, very much for checking us out tonight. I hope you enjoyed the game as much as us. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, blah, and we'll be back for the post-match review on Saturday evening. And check out Dale's podcast as well on the Friday night phone-in. It should be entertaining. Hopefully we'll get a few steamers phoning in to send Paddy argumentative as he normally gets on a Friday night.
Can't beat it. Tonic and shite talk, Paddy. Tonic and shite talk, mate.
Nah, it'll be tea and fucking nonsense for me.
Oh, you're the tea?
Aye, mate.
All right, fuck it then. I'll just make a cunt to myself.
You don't mean tenants, no?
Yeah?
What, mate?
You don't mean tenants, no?
No, cups of tea, mate. I'm going to teabag Dale.
He said that 2 weeks ago and then sent me a picture about 2 minutes later with Buckfast and Budweiser, so he's full of shite. We'll see what happens come fucking 6:30 on Friday night, Paddy boy.
Aye, probably will, mate. You'll maybe fucking see me like that live somewhere like that. Right, Dale, we start this.
Yes, mate.
By the way, I'm not an alcoholic. I just love my baby too much.
Join the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh well.
Anyway, right, we'll finish up tonight. Dale boy, thank you so much for joining me and Paddy. And
pleasure as always. Absolute pleasure, guys.
I hope the Morris podcast goes really, really well. I'll be watching it. So,
yes.
Thank you very, very much. Aye, good night. Hail, hail.
Time to do that awkward end of video face.
Aye, hit that end button.
Aye.
So finding the clip and you're full of vodka in it.
Aye, a fucking men's G-spot for you, Dale. Anyway, see you later.
See you later.